Like millions of people, I watch the Rose Bowl parade. My favorite part is the equestrians and their horses. Equine VIP is taking you behind the scenes to meet a few of those special riders. We're going to be talking to Phil Spangenberger, and he is riding the beautiful Nevada and was performing with Spirit of the West. Phil, thank you so much for spending some time with Equine VIP.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Always enjoy watching.
Now listen, I loved watching your show today, but I think what most people would be interested in knowing was you really founded the Cowboy Mounted Shooting Association, didn't you?
I'm one of the co-founders. My friend Jim Rogers, how it happened, I had done exhibitions of mounted shooting, shooting the aerial targets and things like you saw today. I'd put the reins in the teeth and shoot on each side with 2 pistols. And I told Jim at one of the end of trail shoots for cowboy action shooting, I was putting on a demonstration. I said, Jim, you like horses. Why don't you come out and watch me? He came out and a bulb went off in his head and he got the idea to create a sport instead of an exhibition. So he is actually the one that created it as a sport. I kind of inspired it, but then together with a few other people, we co-founded the organization, the Cowboy Mounted Shooting Association, CMSA, which now has over 12,000 members and is considered the fastest growing equine sport probably in the world.
I heard that you didn't think people would come. You had this idea and you didn't think people would show up.
Yeah, what a visionary, huh? Yeah, I told Jim, I said, I've always had trouble getting people with the moxie to get up on a horse and ride and shoot, and in my shows, because I produced a lot of Wild West shows and things, and he said, well, let's give it a try. And it started out with just really a handful of people. I think the first year that the CMSA existed, which is about 2.5, 3 years after the sport was founded, there was only like 65 members, myself, my wife, and just a couple of handfuls of people. And now, as I say, we have over 12,000 members, and we're growing at about 4.5 members a day. So it's really great.
Now, your horses that you ride are very important to the sport, and this is a beautiful example of one. Tell us about Nevada.
Well, the horse is your teammate, and it can be anywhere from 60 or 70 to 95% of the game. You've got to know what you're doing. You've got to know horsemanship. You've got to know firearms handling. But if that horse doesn't cooperate with you, it's all over. And Nevada is she's the horse I was using for the exhibition. She was only, I think, about 7 years old at the time. She's pushing 30 right now. And I tell everybody she's 30 going on 3. Because as you saw her out there, she's ready to go.
I saw her out there. She looked awesome. She looked amazing.
She's a Mustang and running quarter mix out of a ranch up in the Elko, Nevada area. And she's got a hot iron brand on her side from the old Wine Cup Ranch, which was a ranch that bred the wild Mustangs with their running quarters. And she's one heck of a horse, I'll tell you. I've had some good horses in my time, and she's probably the strongest and toughest horse. Been all over the country with me. She's been on TV. Anything I ask her to do. She did 16 rose parades. I don't use her in the parade anymore because at her age, that standing around all night long is a little tough for her. So I use her for the show, and she gets to take her bow there. And she used to do a bow. She was trained by Glenn Randall, who trained the trigger horses. And she's one of the last horses that he trained before he passed. And I just can't say enough about her. She's a heck of a horse. Sometimes, like any of them, you want to cuss them when they don't do things, but she's never let me down.
Now, you mentioned firearms and Hollywood, and I understand that you've taught some Hollywood stars how to shoot guns, right?
Yeah, how to shoot, how to handle a gun safely and look like they've been doing it for years, and then gun twirling. I taught Mel Gibson for his movie Maverick. I worked again with Mel with a little bit with the flintlock pistol and rifle for the Patriot. I worked with Charlton Heston for the Mountain Men with the Hawken rifles. Ed Harris, Will Smith, Rob Lowe, a bunch of people. Milla Jovovich, I had to teach her to twirl 45 automatics, which, so she could kill the undead. which the director said, I want it to look authentic. I said, sir, she's shooting the undead. How authentic is that going to be? But I've had a lot of fun. They're great people. You can see why these people are stars, because they learn fast, they pay attention, and they work hard. I have to give it to them. They work hard.
Now, you also really are an expert in guns. You shoot with vintage guns, antique guns, don't you?
Yes. In my act, I use a couple of Colt single-action revolvers. Single-action, like in the mounted shooting, you have to cock it before you pull the trigger. You can pull the trigger all day long, nothing will happen. This one is unloaded because you saw me empty it out there and made some good guys out of those bad balloons. But this is a new-made 1873 Colt. I do have some original guns, but these were made for me years ago, and I've been using them in shows, and I've got several that I use. And, I've hunted all over the world with antique arms, taken deer with and elk with muzzle loaders, and in Africa I used an 1870s side hammer double rifle to take a Cape buffalo, and
wow.
18 yards in the bush. That was a heart pounder.
Yeah.
But it worked.
That's great. Now, Phil, where should we watch for you next? You're going to be at the Rose Parade. I know you travel at exhibitions, correct? What else?
I don't travel as much as I used to. Through the years, I've had the opportunity to travel to Europe and Asia and South America and Finland, but I don't travel as much as I used to. But occasionally I do some documentaries and things on the History Channel. Once in a while, usually in the big A pictures like Hidalgo and things like that, I work behind the scenes, but once in a while I'll get in there in an eye-blinking scene. If you reach for your popcorn, you miss me. But I'll be in the Rose Parade, and occasionally I turn up at the various Cowboy Mounted Shooting matches that are held. They're going to have a bunch of them in Arizona through February, and then we have our national championship in Tunica, Mississippi, and our world championship in Amarillo, Texas. So I go to some of those, and I don't compete anymore. My wife and I used to compete. My wife, I'm very proud to say, is very heavily decorated. She's a 4-time world champion, women's world champion.
Gosh.
But there's some great competitors nowadays. I'll tell you, the sport is growing. Yeah.
Great.
It's a lot of fun.
Well, thank you so much for your time, Phil. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Nice to see you.